and gentlemen, we have a very special treat today because we have gotten one of the greatest Jewish hip hop artists in the world to join us for our schmooze. I cannot wait to introduce you to Kosha Dillz. Kosha, come on, join me. There he
Oh,
is. How you
what's up?
doing, Kosha?
Good, 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 good.
Good. So, I want you to tell me a little bit. For those, a lot of our people may not know about the world of Jewish hip hop, or if they do, they may not know you. So, can you give us a little sense of, where you're from and how you got into this amazing world?
Um, I got into rapping from I was 17. I'm 40 now. I've been doing hip hop, over half my life. New York City battle rap scene, and just coming up, like just coming up really in that era, just loving hip hop. My friends were my one great friend was a rapper, a Persian dude named Yak, and he was always in these rap battles, and he was really successful at the time, and we were like, yo, this is happening, it's buzzing, and we went and we started running with it. We started, going to all the events, and then I started rapping too, and I started joining the battles, and then that's sort of really how I started, probably from that age to about 25, of just really doing the rap battle stuff.
Were you born in New York?
Jersey, I'm a Jersey guy. My family's Israeli, and born and raised in New Jersey till 29. I moved to LA at that time to start more with the music thing. And, obviously, like, I was getting really successful, and it was time to move to LA. I had albums with producers in LA. I was traveling there often for shows. And then I made the move out there. And then, after like 9 years there, I moved to Israel for a short bit. And then COVID happened back, and, went to LA, and then I was like, I'm going to move to New York because it's the worst place in the pandemic. So let's go there. And and discovered some new stuff over here, and it's been going well. So
So
now
you're
I'm a
living
New
in New
Yorker.
York now.
Now I'm a New Yorker. Yeah, I got my New York
Oh, good.
license. I just got my New York license. I'm voting in the New York election. Yeah, it's fun.
Oh, that's so cool. Because I'm a Bronx boy myself. So.
Hey, listen, I got a lot of connections to the Bronx now with my new video with Fat Joe. So a lot of cool connections to the Bronx.
Well, I'm going to let you tell me about that in a minute, but I'd like to know a little bit as I was reading through your bio. I was fascinated by the fact that you had several changes of names. Like you started with Kosher Dill,
Yeah.
and then you went away from the Jewish thing, and then you came back to Kosher Dillz. Can you
Mhm.
tell us a little bit about that process of changing your name and trying to find that identity?
Specifically, people made fun of me. So I was like, yo, if you're making fun of me, then I'm like, I'm not really into it. Um, I don't want, I don't, I was just like, it was cool to have initials. There's a rap MF Doom, Pac FM, KD Flow, da na na. And it just had a good ring to it. So I was like, okay, let's be KD Flow, KD. People, and KD was Kosha Dillz, which is short for it. I was like, okay, KD Flow. Um, and that was that. And then, I had gotten incarcerated, and then incarcerated again. I had big issues with addiction, drug addiction. I'm sober over 17 years, clean and sober. So, and thank you very much. Give myself a pat on the back for that great accomplishment. And I, when I was putting out a record, I was like, let's do Kosha Dillz. Like Kosha Dillz will make a splash as a name, you know what I mean? And now I'm like getting more into being Jewish, and just, it was really a Christian guy actually who was gotten me more into being Jewish when I was locked up. And mostly it was like non-Jewish people that were really, really kind of encouraging me to like get into it. So I was like, I'm going to come out with that. But on my first record in 2005, some of the lyrics from the songs, I was still referencing to myself as KD. And that was like just from that era, but now we're doing this, and now we're in a different era,
So
and
that's
now I'm Kosha
amazing.
Dillz. So I like people to rock with Kosha Dillz because Rami, my regular name, Rami Matana Vinesh, or just Rami in general, people don't know whether I'm, Arab, or it could be Egyptian, Lebanese, Palestinian, Jordanian. There's a lot of people with the name Rami that aren't Jewish. And I like to be identified as a Jewish guy. I don't know, something I'm into.
Well, but tell me about that because look, I grew up in an era when being Jewish was like the last thing people wanted to be. So everybody changed their names. Everybody, went into a whole different world. and tried as hard as possible not to be Jewish or not to be identified as Jewish. So can you tell us, why you kind of decided to go the other way?
Basically, it was because of the fact that, I don't know, I like being a little bit of an outcast, a little bit like, oh, you guys know it's not what you're supposed to do. Like, that's what I'm going to do. And it was like, at that point, rappers had to be original. And if you weren't original and you were like, you see how every rapper now is named Lil? There's like 8,000 names on Spotify. Lil something, Lil Wayne, Lil Baby, Lil, Lil Dicky, Lil anyone. For me, it's about being completely different. There's nobody like me. I guarantee I'll put all the money on the world. If you find someone that's like me, people compare me to a lot, but there's really no one like me. And I have a very original name. There's no Kosha this, Kosha. There's no, it would be really funny if there was, but there's not.
No, there is no Kosha Dillz. You are one of a kind, my friend.
That's
Tell
it,
me about the first album. You were working with Matisyahu. Now, was Matisyahu already a known commodity when you met him?
When I met Matisyahu, I first went on stage with Matisyahu in 2004 in BB King's. Matisyahu was like about to blow. He was selling out New York, which is blowing up to me. If you're selling 1,000 tickets, you're blown up. You know what I mean? Sure. If you're moving in that sort of variety of, but I knew Matisyahu's drummer, who was also sober too. I think still is, but he's not his drummer anymore. His Matisyahu's changed over so many years, and Matisyahu just putting me on, but like he wasn't really. I did not do a song with Matisyahu until 2006, a song called Childhood with this rapper C. Ray's Walls. And then Matisyahu, we started doing that song at like his New York shows during Hanukkah with C. Ray's. And at that time, we went from there to 2009, Matisyahu putting me on a tour with him, just, rapping a verse and selling my CDs in the crowd and just doing a guest appearance, and then 2016, I got him on a song called Dodging Bullets. And then I got him on my new album, Nobody Cares Except You, it's a song called For the Ones. It's a really great song. So he's been extremely helpful to me in my career, and also just connecting you with more Jews, because everyone loves Matisyahu. Right. And everyone's rocked with Matisyahu at one point or another over the years, because he's been around for a long time. And he's really set the trend for a lot of other people to do Jewish art. When people saw that Matisyahu was so viral, other people were like, Jewish this, like doing events and culture and shows. And it's interesting how I'm seeing that starting to happen with me, where people are reaching out. Like, I'm a Jewish rapper too. I'm an Israeli rapper. I'm an idea, all that stuff. It's cool.
Yeah, it's very cool. And let me just say that I think, if I'm not mistaken, after Matisyahu started to really get into the consciousness, suddenly the whole concept of Orthodox Jews being kind of cool and doing and suddenly Israel was producing television shows like Shtisel, and that was getting picked up by Netflix. And suddenly this Orthodox Jewish kind of persona, I've made a couple of movies with Orthodox Jewry as kind of a major theme. And they're winning awards and they're getting recognized all over the world. So I think it's fascinating. You did a video which blew me away. It was called Spam Hebrewish.
Oh, yeah.
Tell me about that, because the idea of Jewish is so much more than just the Orthodoxy, or just so much more than just Yiddish or Hebrew. It's everywhere, right?
Sorry, I'm just fiddling around with something. The idea is that, I worked with Mendy Pellin on that video. Do you know Mendy Pellin? It's another great Jewish comedian, and just in general, he's awesome. And we got outfits and designers and former Orthodox Jews. And the idea was, I just love being Jewish. And I was like, we want this to go viral in the Jewish world, but it was like a little bit too sexy. So like people will share it, but they can't share it publicly. You know what I mean? So, and then someone had filmed us, and they were like, such an LA moment. They were filming us shooting the music video from behind us. And I'm like, oh, I wonder what happened to that. And then that was like going a little viral in like the Israeli world, because everyone's like, what the hell is going on here in LA, you know? And that thing is just, you know, my dream is on a Span Hebrish is really what it's about. It's like, my dream is to bring those worlds together. Is that, you know, I bring the Spanish world together with the Jewish world, and the Black world with the Jewish world. And basically that's kind of always been my dream. And to really bridge those gaps, I'm talking about, you know, Shmoozing with Avi Hoffman and World Star, and like, how do those worlds interconnect? And Jews love Black culture. We love sports. We love basketball. We love baseball. We love jazz, right? And all this stuff, the greatest athletes in the world are Black, you know, and I really, in hip hop culture, it's a Black culture. And then there's this Jewish culture, which is very akin, and we've been through the same struggles. And like, my dream is really just to kind of mesh those in, and all my songs sort of represent a little bit of that and a little bit of this, whether it shows that visually or not. But that video specifically, you know, is the fact that I speak Spanish, I speak Hebrew. So it's like, you know, make the song.
So there's Ladino, and there's Mughrabi, and the Arab Jewish languages, and the Mizrahi, and the Iraqi, and Iran. I have the same dream as you. That's why we created this organization, to try to bring together all the elements of the Jewish world in a place that's not threatening. I was also blown away by your video of dodging bullets.
Right.
Can you tell us a little bit about the inspiration of that tune?
Yeah, so that was, we wanted it to make it look like we were in Israel, and that was really a big response to like BDS. But it was also like dodging bullets, like, you know, you dodged a bullet. Like, it's also, there's, and anything with music, we are always like, we're always sort of looking at something and being like, okay, how could this have multiple meanings? It doesn't have to just mean one thing to people. And that's when you hit that and people can't stop discussing it, then that becomes a really amazing situation. You know what I mean? So for me, that was something that happened, you know? That was something with that. And then we shot it though. We shot it though in Palm Springs. And then the concert, Matisyahu was opening for, no, he wasn't opening. He was playing a festival, like co-headlining something with 311. Or maybe it was their beer festival, or maybe it was a festival with multiple bands. And he was going on before 311. And he was on Coachella grounds where they do Coachella. And so we filmed it there. So we shot it during the day, and then we, you know, set it all up. Hey, this is perfect. And we got a concert. We're performing together. And, you know, I used to just show up to Matisyahu concerts. He said I could show up anywhere. So I just started showing up, and he'll be like, okay. And Matisyahu plays a lot of shows. So, you know, if you don't make one of them or two of them, he's always playing another one soon somewhere.
I found that video not only to be visually stunning and emotionally stunning, but, you know, for me, having lived in Israel as long as I did, and I was there during the war in '73. So I'm
my
an
father
old
was in that war. Yeah.
Sorry, yeah. So
My
I
father
was
was in
actually
that war.
performing as an actor on the front lines during that war, and
Wow.
there were bullets like flying around outside, and we were entertaining the troops. So to me, that song just
Crazy.
brought back an enormous world of that Israeli consciousness, dodging bullets. Tell me about you know, your album "What I Do All Day in Pickle" and how that hit the Billboard charts, man.
Honestly, it was also because of Matisyahu. I sold so many records on the tour that, you know, on the first week and pre-sales from Kickstarter, that everyone would see me rap with Matisyahu. And then after I got off stage, I had my album in the front, and I went around hand to hand with just selling that thing. And that was like a culmination of like a tour with Matisyahu, Warp Tour. And I had it as an EP, and then I extended it as like an LP. And back then people were just really playing CDs, you know, it wasn't like as much as Spotify. And I was still like, I come from the era of slinging CDs, being us underground, you know, and that was it. We're just selling music, selling music, selling music. And now we're more in the era of stream music, sell shirts, you know? So that's all, you know. that album was just like a mishmash of producers and everything. I wouldn't say that was like my best album. That was like a prime example of like some great songs with hustle culture and improv. And I worked with a really orthodox producer named YOC Beats who produced that. And then he got like so religious that he didn't want to make music anymore, or like, but it was really interesting because he was just like such a good kid. He was so young and he just made such great beats. And my buddy Miko said, why don't we do a spoof on, pickle culture with, I was calling it What I Do All Day. And he goes, why don't you call it What I Do All Day and Pickle? And we kind of spoofed the cover of that album is really from Velvet Underground with a banana. If you guys know Velvet Underground, it's a very famous, iconic thing from Andy Warhol with a banana. And I just said, whoop, Jews were really good with parody and stuff like that. I feel like it's like kind of our shtick. We could always flip something, Yeah, something could be like, we could have like something on NBC would be like Moving with Johnny Rockman. And then you're like, how about Shmoozing with Avi Hoffman? You know what I mean? Like, same, and that stuff is fun. So
tell me about some of the big rappers and hip hoppers that you got to meet. Tara told me about a story that happened to you on the streets of New York.
Yeah.
Fat Joe.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure you have a lot of stories about different people that you encountered. You want to tell us a couple of those stories?
Yeah. So, I mean, one of them was like being at the BT Cypher with RZA from Wu-Tang Clan and coming out and talking to DMX about me rapping. And, rest in peace to DMX, one of the greatest. And also talking to him about recovery and stuff. And he goes, well, you rhyme, spit something. And then I started rapping about a whole bunch of Jewish stuff. And then he started battling me. This wasn't like the thing with Fat Joe that happened with me wasn't the first time I did this. I've done this with Matisyahu and A$AP Rocky, who is like, up there, right? With as far as the young rappers, 10 years though, but like, young 30s, he's number one. DMX, boom. Fat Joe, boom. But I've also done it with Gaten Matarazzo from Stranger Things, boom. Just different area, right? I've done it with Jeff Goldblum, actor, different spot, boom. You know what I mean? Yeah. Mm-hmm. So a lot of people are new here, but we've been doing this a long time, Avi, just like you have and a lot of us. And when you have to reintroduce people to like what you've kind of been doing in the work you're we're going to give them a little education. And I really appreciate that question because it's like, I've rapped for rappers. I did the same thing for RZA from Wu-Tang Clan in 2009. I just did it. I was, meeting people, rapping for them. And that's a big, very famous way of people thinking like, oh, you're a big guy. You're Kanye West. That'd be my dream. If I met Kanye West and he decided to join me, and then that would be the luck of the draw, but it wouldn't be the luck of the draw because that's what we're doing it for. We do it for a couple shekels here and there, right? And it's nice and it keeps the boat afloat. Yeah. But ultimately, when we get that big moment, then something happens. Unfortunately, the DMX battle became big because when DMX died recently, a lot of people started finding this video about like the great things that DMX did, and that was a really DMX was known for rapping with upcoming rappers. And I was one of them.
I'm fascinated. Like I said in the beginning, I don't know a lot about hip hop and rap. I'm a generation earlier, but I'm trying to learn. Tell me about the way you get inspired. Do you spend a lot of time sitting and thinking about it first? Do you come up with an idea, or do you just improv it all and let it flow? Or what's
my goal? I'm just bringing you up. I hope this isn't deterring the thing. I have to.
No, I love it. What's your system? What's the system?
What's the what?
The system.
The system. I thought you said, what's my secret? I said a secret. Okay. We're going to tell them the secrets, telling Avi all the secrets already. My system is a lot of improv. It is mostly improv. And then I do a lot of writing. So with that being said, I like, for instance, right now, you got to charge up, right? You got to get the charge up, right? So we take this day, you relax, shower, go exercise. A lot of stuff happens when I'm running. I became a big runner in the pandemic. I ran a marathon right before it started. I'm always like just thinking and oh, you get a good idea. Like, oh, we should do a Hanukkah song. Oh, we do this, or what is that? And you just get a voice note recorder and do it all, you know? And sometimes you just have to buy the studio time, get in and have a really great engineer. A lot of the secrets to my greatest songs that I made, one with Jesse Shacken, Cellular Phone, and Doo-Doo, like my first album, Beverly Dills, and my second album, Awkward in a Good Way. Those were because I had a great engineer that knew that I was a great freestyler, and he caught the moments that he did, and he could rearrange things. And people need to know that you need to have a really great engineer to freestyle moments for songs, etc. So for instance, I have a song called Shmoozing, right? Yes. Which I thought would have been the theme song for your
for our Hanukkah Fest, man. This is Hanukkah Fest. It's the greatest.
Yeah, and and so the guy that did that, Kojak, he sampled, we made the beat together. He loved the Nachman guys, the Breslov, and he wanted that song. And we made that song multiple times. But like, he realized that, you know, the way I was rapping and writing, I speed write. So even if I'm not freestyling, I'm speed writing, which is like, because I'm in the studio with someone really big, right? So it's almost like the same moment that I get outside a venue. You see somebody, you need to operate quick. But when you put me in a high pressure situation, Avi, I'm going to deliver. It's going to be a little bit different than not delivering for your own or writing a song about someone who passed away or something like that. It's just a different experience. But you put me in a situation, I might only have 30 minutes because they might decide to kick me out. And I have that fear. So I think of, it's not freestyling or improv. It's like documentation of your improv. It's like documenting the improv and then editing it, like getting a couple free edits, you know?
Wow. That's even more impressive. Now that you've told me that, I'm even more impressed with everything that I've seen about
Thank you.
You know, the Shmoozing song blew me away. Tell us about your latest release and about your upcoming tour.
Is It Me is my new song. And the song's been out on my album, Nobody Cares Except You. But it's produced by this guy, Sad Pony. He's done work with David Bowie. He's done work with Nicki Minaj, just like a lot of high level stuff. It's just like more of a current sound, kind of like a trappy sound. And I change all my different outfits, my clothing, my everything, my suits, my Moses cat costume. And from there, I went from like, you know, getting that video out kind of to release with the tour with, and I have a tour with Nassim Black. Nassim Black is an amazing, you know, Black Orthodox Jewish rapper who I knew before he was Jewish. And we're just doing a lot of spots in major cities, Seattle, San Francisco, you know, New York City. It's gonna be cool. So
I read a little bit about Nassim Black. What a story!
Well, he has a
Muslim, converted to Christianity, became a born again, you know, Jew for Jesus, and now he's an Orthodox Jew.
Yeah,
what an amazing journey he had, and now you guys get to journey together. It's amazing.
Yeah, and you know, we're just keeping it going because we're like, I'm just connecting, and he has a big name, and I'm really excited about it. So. You know,
well, you are an inspiration. I'm already inspired because we do a lot of festivals. I'm thinking maybe next season in Florida, we do the New Jew Festival and we bring in all the new, young, you know, new and you, Jew, and, you know, just create some kind of a festival for this amazing creativity.
Beautiful.
That, you know, my generation needs to know what your generation is doing.
Let's do it.
Because, you know,
I'm ready.
I'm ready. You ready?
My thing is, you know, like I told Fat Joe, I mean, I would love to tell you the Fat Joe story. I don't know if is that, you know, he saw me rapping outside, which I'm going to go rap outside Madison Square Garden right now when I finish telling the story. is that we're outside until we're inside. And his thing is yesterday's price is not today's price. And he goes, because knowing your self-worth is another level to achieve. Knowing your self-worth. I know I'm worth, someone once told me there's $1 million for everybody out there. You just have to go find the person that's willing to give it to you. And I don't know who said it, but I remember it so iconically, because today you might only make $20 and you might lose money, but you know, your life might change in an instant as long as you keep believing in what you're doing. And I went wrapped out in the rain, and I told my girlfriend, I was like, listen, could you film this? Take your phone and just film it. And just, take my phone, and like, cause I'm just gonna be doing this. And she caught a moment that literally changed my whole life. And the thing is, all moments change our lives, and that happens, and we're outside till we're inside. I want to share that because I'm like, I've been outside on the outside, and now this is the moment when everyone calls you, it's very much like the Jewish story. We're always outsiders, and now we're always been outside. It's a very Jewish story, because you're the outcast, the low of the low, the scum of the earth, and then all of a sudden we take all that hardship and then we become insider, and now we're elevated. And I think the new Jewish festivals, when Matisyahu came out, there was the same thing happened. There was huge J-Dub, all the Jewish music sites, and everyone, Shem Speed, my buddies Y-Loves, D1, these guys really started something new. And there's so many great things like Yid Life Crisis, Golem, Shmoozing is a Yiddish thing. It's like people love Yiddish, and they always think Yiddish, dress British. But my thing is, think Yiddish, dress Yiddish too, Shmoozing, you know what I mean? Like, let's wear it on the outside, because, the outside has become inside. So we outside till we inside. Want to share that with you.
What do you think? I'm going to let you go in a minute, but before I let you go, we're living in a world today which I never thought I would see in my lifetime. Both my parents survived the Holocaust. And I always thought, that anti-Semitism, especially in America, was not going to be anything I would have to worry about in my lifetime. What would you say to those today who are now going back into this whole world of hating the Jews, and it's all the Jews' fault, and Jews will not replace us, and it's just, what do you say to them? How do we get them to turn?
I don't think my job is to make them to turn, but I think when you find people that are hateful, there's something inside of them that they hate about themselves. And I mean that totally, because I'm like sometimes I feel jealous of others, and I hate that person. And I always know it's referring to me. So I can only imagine if other people have the energy to blame somebody else for their own faults. It has nothing to do with Jewish people. It has something to do with your own personal dark demons. And I say that as somebody who's been clean, and I blamed everyone for why I'm going this, or, I was in jail. I'm a recovering drug addict, drug dealer, armed robberies, gun, I've been in stolen cars. Like I've lived that life, and I feel I haven't really talked about those specific things. And I remember just always pointing fingers and blaming other people except myself. And although that has nothing to do with racism or anti-Semitism or bigotry, it's very similar mind states that people think that when you point fingers at someone else for issues, you know what I mean? Like, it's not your fault that you have no money, so you blame the Jews. It's not your fault that your life is bad, but I do, and because I don't want to say, oh, F them, etc. Because there's many people that have healed and totally flipped the script and became like servants and just allies. And like, ultimately, that's the really only way that we could cure, because you can't kill bigotry. You can't kill a disease by killing them. I mean, you have to fight. Obviously, we fight back and we stick up. And, I was in Pittsburgh a week after it happened, on tour. And first thing I do is I go there. I've been at terror sites in Israel. The first thing I do is go there. I went to the Har Nof terror attacks, and you see it, and you see the people. The first thing they do is they just go back into it. Jewish people just go back into it and live life. And that's really all we could do if you suffer from, that. And I just wanted to express that, because I think there's two ways you could look at it. You can fight back, but I'm not the Israeli army. You know what I'm saying? I'm just like me as a solo person. My father lived, was in the wars and stuff, and that, like that era. But over here in America, like, you just got to be a shining light, Hanukkah. be the light, and attract the energy. Because I've manifested some crazy stuff in the past couple of days. You're the first interview I've done since I had, you know, 9 million views on this week on the internet, because I just believed in myself and just, but it's always a fact, because the week before I got 900. And I do think that if people switch that attitude to bigotry, and you know that their life will, like, you could turn like your life around. But it's not us, I promise you that. It's not the Jews, buddy, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, I hope that, I don't know, it's an interesting answer for me, but that's just all. I've only been thinking about one thing recently. I haven't been chatting about the bigotry part, but I do know that I did something with Hillel called Own Your Star. And while all the viral success happened, I made sure I posted about the Pittsburgh thing, because I had a lot of new people from many different, mostly non-Jews. I don't feel funny. Mostly no one was Jewish that found my video. Like it's all a hip hop community, black community mostly. And I got a lot of people that reached out to me that weren't Jewish and are so happy I posted about it, you know, and obviously Jewish people too, but I think it's really important. So anyways, I'm just going to keep doing my thing.
You are an inspiration. Thank you. I think the answer is education.
Education, that's
Most
it.
hatred is fear-based. And if
Most.
we educate and we teach that people are all the same, we're all, you know, we're all brothers and sisters and mothers and fathers and sons and daughters, and all our blood is red, man. It's all the same. So I am inspired by you. Thank you. Do you want to tell people where they can find you, how they can get you, and how they can continue to make you go viral?
100%. Everything is Kosha Dillz, just like here on the shirt. KOSHADILLZ. And you know, KoshaDillzWorld.com. You could go there. You could see the tour dates with me and Nassim Black. Spotify is a great way to listen to music, sharing the actual def on there, and YouTube and Instagram and TikTok. It's Kosha Dillz, Kosha Dillz 826 on TikTok, which my birthday is August 26th. 8, the miracle number, you know. You know, I have a merch store too on my website. If you click, it says store, and you could get some cool merchandise, support the dream, keep the dream alive, keep the gas in the tank, even though I take the subway. Yeah, that's pretty much it, man. I'm pretty easy to find.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I couldn't be prouder to have Kosha Dillz here with us in the house. Thank you, man.
Hey,
we'll
and
see you soon, and I can't wait to have you in person somewhere here in our world.
Let's go. Yeah, I'm ready to get booked. I'm coming to Florida. See y'all soon.